Good evening, Dhamma friends at the online Pali reading class OPRC. We are going to get started. So before we get started, shall we respect the Sadhu, Sadhu, Sadhu. Namo tasse bhagavatu arahatu samma sambuddhasse. Namo tasse bhagavatu arahatu samma sambuddhasse. Namo tasse bhagavatu arahatu samma sambuddhasse. As you can remember, we've been studying about Metta Sutta, somewhere in the Metta Sutta. Today, we will be discussing another stanza of the Metta Sutta. Before we get started, shall we take a look at the stanza? Mata yatha niyang puttam ayusa ekaputta manurakhe evampi sabba bhutesu manasang bhavaye apariman. Mata yatha niyang puttam ayusa ekaputta manurakhe evampi sabba bhutesu manasang bhavaye apariman. All right, so shall we ask groups to read? Group 1. Some from group 1. Yes, and let's go ahead.
Thank you, Bhante.
Yes.
Mata yatha niyang puttang ayusa eka putta manorakhe evampi sabba bhutesu manasang bhavaye aparimanam.
Okay, great. It's not
Thank
a
you.
difficult stanza. Group 2. Someone from group 2. Yes, Susan. Let's go ahead.
Hello, Bhante. I hope
Yes.
you're well.
Okay.
Thank you. Mata yata niyam bhutam ayusa eke bhutamanu reiki evampi sabba bhutesu manasam bhavaye aparimanam.
Okay, great.
Thank you.
Group 3. Yes, Paripurna. Yes.
Good evening, Bhante.
Yes, good evening.
Mata yata niyam puttam ayusa eka putta manurake evampi sababhutesu manasam bhavaye aparima.
Okay, great. Group 4. Yes, KBO.
Thank you, Bhante.
Yes.
Mata yatha niyang putang ayusa eka putta manurakhe evampi sabha bhutesu manasang bhavaye aparimana.
Okay, great.
Thank you, Bhante.
Group 5. Stan Sotya. Yes.
Yes, Bhante outside.
Yes, please go ahead.
Mata yata niyam puttam ayusa eka putta manurake evampi sabba bhutesu manasam bhavaye aparimanam.
Right, great. Group 6. Yes, Tesita. Yes.
Good evening, Bhante.
Yeah, good evening. Yes.
Mata yatha niyam puttang ayusa ikaputta manurake. Ivampi sabba buttesu. Manasam bhavaye aparimanam.
Right, great.
Thank you.
Group 7. Yeah, group 7. Group 8. Yes, no worries. Okay.
Good evening, Bhante.
Yes, good evening.
Mata yata niyang putang ayusa eka putang manurake. Evam pi sabba bhutesu manasam bhavaye aparimana.
Can you read the second line again?
Thank you, Bhante.
The second line?
Ayusa eka putang. Okay, Bhante.
I think I didn't hear that. Can you go again? Yes. Ayusa?
Ayusa eka putta manurake.
Great. Ayusa eka putta
Thank you, Bhante.
All right. Now the opportunity is for others who would like to read. Yes. Anybody? Right. So we can ask Oi to recite.
Thank you, Bhante.
Yes.
Mata yatha niyam putang ayusa ikaputta manurake. Ewampi sababu tesu manasang bawaye aparimanang.
Right. Great. And then Chong Paklan.
Thank you, Bhante.
Yes.
Mata yata niyam putam. Ayusa ekaputam manurake. Ivampi sapabutesu manasam bhavayi aparimanam.
The last line, please. Manasam.
Manasam bhavayi aparimanam.
Here we have to read as bhavaye. Bhavaye.
Bhavaye.
Yeah. Manasam bhavaye aparimana.
Okay.
It's not English E actually here. Bhavaye aparimana. Okay.
Bhavaye.
Great. Yes.
Thank you.
Then, yeah, great. And we have Serene. Let's go ahead.
Thank you, Bhante. Metta to Bhante.
Yes, Metta to you too.
Mata yata niyam puttam ayusa ekaputta manurake. Ivampi sabbabutesu manasam bhavaye aparimanang.
Great. And we
Thank
have Rashmi.
Thank you, Bhante.
Yes.
Mata yatha niyam puttam ayusa eka puttam manurakke evam pi sabbhutesu manasam bhavaye aparimanam.
Great. And we have 9 Cheng. Yes.
Thank you, Bhante. Mata yata niyang putang. Ayusa ekaputta manurake. Evampi sabba bhutesu manasang bhavaye aparimanam.
Okay, great.
Thank you,
And
Bhante.
Secha.
Thank you, Bhante. Okay. Mata yata niyam putang. Ayusa eka putta manurake. Evampi sabba buttesu. Manasam bhavaye aparimanam.
Okay, great.
Okay, thank you.
What you want?
Thank you, Bhante.
Yes.
Mata yata niyang putang ayusa eka putta manurake. Manurakke. Evampi sabbabhutesu. Manasang bhavaye aparimanam.
Great.
Yeah, thank you, Bhante.
Yes, anybody else? Right, looks like no. All right, this stanza has to be understood in the proper context. Now, let me ask you. Now, the whole idea is, just as a mother at the risk of life loves and protects her child, her only child, so too for all beings, we should unfold a boundless heart, boundless metta. But the issue here is that mother's love is not metta initial. It is a personal love, isn't it? It's a personal love for his or her child. But it is unconditional. But metta is not a personal thing. Metta is an impersonal thing. It means it radiates to everyone. It goes everywhere. So the main thing that we have to understand from this stanza is that the unconditional part of that love. So that metta has to be unconditional, right? So that is the main thing we have to learn from this stanza, but we have to go for the words over here just to understand more things. Mata. Now, yata means just as. It's a very famous Pali phrase that you can see. Niyang putta. Niyang means own. My, her own. I mean, now when you talk about children, people can think about children in a couple ways. What do you call foster mothers, biological mothers? I mean, now in this case, a biological mother. And then mata yata. Now niyang means own. Then putta. Putta means, does putta mean, is putta a unisex word? Or is putta only a male word? What do you think? The Pali word for son is putta. The Pali word for daughter is putti. Putta putti. Right? Now, this is how we're going to write that here. Now, here you can see putta. Putta. And then putti is daughter. This is feminine. This is masculine. So, putta doesn't mean here a unisex term. It's mostly about son. Actually, Buddha had to stick to the Indian culture at the at the point of giving Dhamma talks, because in Indian culture, females were not really regarded properly, right? Because of Hinduism. In Hinduism, it says a female is to recite the Veda. They're going to cut the tongue. That's the Brahmins' way. The Brahmins don't like the females to recite Vedas, the Hindu Vedas. This is why at a certain time of Indian philosophy, that certain anti-Veda traditions came up, like Upanishad, Aranyaka Upanishad, and then Samana tradition. Samana means traditions like a monk, because in the Veda Brahmana time, they thought liberation, Nibbana is a God-based thing. You cannot investigate yourself. Nibbana has to come from a God. When you die, yourself is going to be immersed with the God self, Mahabrahma self. That is Hindu Nibbana. But after a certain time, some curious people thought, we don't think this may be the truth. the true Nibbana should be somewhere inside of our consciousness. That is how traditions like Jainism, um, traditions like famous philosophers like Purana Kassapa, Makkali Gosala, Ajita Kesa Kambala, Bahuda Kachayana, Sanjay Pellatiputta, these philosophies came out. These philosophies led even Prasiddhartha to reinvent Buddhism at that point. So anyways, it was a very, what you call, a patriarchal, man-based society. So most of the words that we see, they are more to take male version of examples, not the female version, most of the time. But anyways, we understand, yeah, Putta means son, Putti means daughter. But don't think that you can't take the Putti here. If you take the Putti, let's see how it works. Huh? Mata yata niyang putting. Huh? Mata yata niyang putting. I mean, the mother has the same unconditional love towards the daughter, not even for the son. But here it was taken because of the male dominant society. That's why the Buddha said Putta. Then Ayusa Eka Putta Manurake. Let's decombine here. This is a combination Sandhi. We're going to cut this one. Okay. Has to be Anurake and Eka Putta. All right. Ayusa. Ayusa means, as we understand, a mother can sacrifice everything for her son or daughter. Ayusa. Risking her own life. Is it not? It's not even common to humans. Huh? It's common to even animals, right? They sacrifice a lot too in their own ways. Eka Putta Anurake. Eka Putta means now the idea here is that mother has a son, but only son. Her own only son. Maybe if you take the female version, only on one daughter, right? That's why it says Eka Putta. Eka means, what does Eka mean? What does Pali
One.
Eka?
One.
Now, if you go to a book like Anguttara Nikaya, you see the numbers. Eko means one, Dukkha means two, Tikka means three, Chatukka means four, Panchama is five, Cha is or Chatti or Cha means six, Satta is seven, Atta is eight. There are ordinary numbers and cardinal numbers. That means 1 and first, 2 and second, 3 and third, 4 and fourth, 5 and fifth, 6 and sixth, 7 and seventh. We call ordinary numbers on one side and the cardinal numbers on the other side. Anyway, so we use numbers, but here, you understand, Eka means one. Anuraki. I think I'm going to erase all these lines just to understand. Anuraki. Now we know the word the rakke. What does anu mean? Anu. Rakka means save, take care, right? Take care. Now, if you look at the Buddha's teachings, you will understand the Buddha always asks us to take care of our thoughts. Can you take care of your mind? Mind is just a place. So we have to take care of our thoughts. That's why the Buddha said, Chittanupassana, right? Not Manoanupassana. He talks about Chittanupassana. Because chittas are the things that we have to be very concerned. Kusala chitta, akusala chitta, unwholesome thoughts or unwholesome thoughts. There's nothing to protect it with the mind, but people use mind in English terminology. Hey, take care of your mind. But what am I going to take care of my mind? Thoughts, actually. Thoughts. Take care of your thoughts. Do I have an angry thought? Do I have a jealous thought? Do I have a thought of destroying other people? Do I have a thought to gossip? Huh? People never think about it. before they gossip. Do I gossip now or not? Do I have a thought of gossiping? Do I have a thought of, I would say, slandering, bad-mouthing, hurting other people, right? So all these are thoughts. So our main concern in the Buddhist teachings is to take care of our thoughts. In the same way, Rakka, if you can go back to Dhammapada, you will see Pandanang chapalang chittang durakkang dunnivarayang ujung karota medavi usukaru tejana. You see, Rakka is everywhere actually. And if you take distance, durangamang ekacharang, our what you call thoughts actually happening in our mind. Yes. So this consciousness, it's always going far. Ekacharang always would like to operate alone. And then durangamang ekacharang asarira, there is no place for the consciousness. Right? Can you say that this is the place where your mind works? This is the place my consciousness places? But Abhidhammas, they were trying to say a place, quite scary. They say there is a place that our mind works. Not in the early Buddhism, not in the early suttas. Buddha never talks about that you can find the mind. Somewhere there is a place in your body that you can call there is mind. Buddha says, asarirang, mind has no place. You can't find a particular place for the thoughts because it's going everywhere. But in Abhidhamma, the Theravada version of early Buddhism, they say, no, there is a place. We found the place of the mind. Where is it? Hadevattu. Hadevattu. What is Hadevattu? They said, our consciousness can be found, can be traced near our heart. How to find it? It can be found near the blood associated in the heart. Now, say, for instance, in their own way, they say, if your heart is taken out, then the doctors are doing a bypass surgery or open heart surgery, still the heart is associating certain blood outside the body, right? So that means as long as the heart is working, that consciousness cannot go anywhere. So they said it is hadevattu. That means our consciousness is specifically found out in the Hade. Buddha said in the early suttas, no, you can't find it. So this is why we have to understand suttas and Abhidhamma. Sometimes there are some what you call doctrinal inconsistencies to, because they were trying to be more defensive about, yeah, we found this mind, so you can work on it. There are 89 thoughts, don't worry, or 121 thoughts, right? So that's why it's very important to learn Dhamma from early suttas. Perhaps you will go to Abhidhamma, you will learn a couple of things, but more onto suttas, early suttas. That's very, very interesting, because if you don't learn from there, you might learn something that was added later on. All right. So here, once again, we are thinking about chitta. The point is, the Buddha said in that stanza, asarira guhasya, consciousness or thoughts are, living in an isolated place, like in a cave. Ye chittang sanyame santi. If someone is going to take care or calm these thoughts, bokkanti mara bandhana, that person is going to free from the bondages of the mara. Buddha always asks us to take care of the thoughts, not control the thoughts, not control the mind. This is an English idea, psychological idea. We can't control our thoughts. By giving a conscious, by giving a very wise attention, bringing wise attention to our thoughts, we are going to take care of our thoughts. Because the more you control, the harder you will have a time to take care of it. It's like somebody who is trying not to eat chocolates for a couple of days, just controlling the tasted buds. And then on the 6th day, he or she comes to a mind, hey, I didn't eat chocolate for 6 days. Now today I'm going to compensate my 7th day with all the chocolates that I didn't eat. This is control. There was no conscious understanding about why I was sugar-free, why I was sugarless for 6 days. But if you consciously, if you wisely practicing that, you don't mind about it. Even though you don't eat, you didn't eat, you know why you didn't eat. There's a certain wisdom going on. So always try to calm your thoughts. Thereby you will have lots of wisdom. So Anurakhe means now this mother is going to take care of the only son who is her own son or daughter, Puttimi. Right? And I think we don't need to explain that. You all understand what it is. And then, see, now the analogy here is this part, this personal love towards one son is going to be related to the metta. Evampi, thus, or in this way, sab bhutesu. Sab means all. Bhutesu means all the beings. Now, in our life, there are certain people and people, they are dying. People we know who are dying time to time. When they die, we're going to call them pethas. We're going to say that they are not anymore with us. But is it true in the sansara wise? No, they were reborn somewhere. Right? They were reborn somewhere else. The problem is ours. We don't know where they were reborn. So all these can be called as bhutesu in a broader understanding. But normally we call bhuta means those who are living now. Actually, they are living also. But they are not living in the way we expect. Now, in our ways, okay, he died. He's not coming back. She's not coming back. But we know, by implied sense, they were reborn somewhere. They haven't stopped their sansara. They all are bhutas then. Now, just as how a mother who has one own son or daughter is going to love her only son or daughter unconditional, but that's a personal love. Keep that in mind. It's not metta. Okay? It's not metta. It's a personal love. But that unconditional level of that love is what we have to learn. We have to bring into our metta practice. Because now, as you can know, when a son or a daughter is to make a mistake, sometimes, I think quite often, mothers, they take their side. They sometimes to cover up their son and their daughter. No, it's okay. They're going to defend them. Why? No matter what, they are loving them, right? So this unconditionality should come to our metta. Now we're going to see how it works at the end. Evampi sambhabhutesu manasang bhavaye apariman. Now bhavaye, do you find a subject over here? No, it is implied. That means we all are supposed to relate to this part. One should, bhavaye means, I would say, cultivate or develop. Aparimana, manasang aparimana. Aparimana means boundless or limitless, infinite. Manasang, this has metta. Manasam means, I would say, lots of metta thoughts. So our metta has to be unconditional. Right? It has to be unconditional. Now we have lots of questions coming up in our practical metta thing, right? So a lot of inconsistencies are coming up when we think about metta. How do we do this actually? How can we bring unconditional metta? That means most people's metta is conditional, isn't it? That's why the Buddha actually points out here something very interesting. Most people's way of practicing metta is conditional. Why is it? They are not able to bring in the same level of metta onto others. Why is it? it is because of their bad experiences, right? Bad experiences are what prevent them in not putting everybody into this same unconditional level. Let's talk about this from different aspects. Okay, I think we had to discuss about mother's love. I would say it's what you call the filial love, right? This comes from father and mother. There are different levels of love. And what do you think? Do we need personal love in our life, or can we only survive with metta? What do you think? Is metta enough? Is metta enough for all of us to live in our life, especially from the lay version? Actually, what do you think? Can you live only with metta, or do you think that you need a certain personal love? And on the other hand, for those people who don't know, maybe who you are not very connected too much, you're going to practice metta to all of them. What do you think? Any thoughts? This is a very interesting thing to think about. As we understand in many Buddhist stories, especially with regard to Prince Siddhartha, we understand that he experienced lots of love from Yashodhara for many sansaric lives. And he himself told her when he went to see parents, right? She did not turn up. And then he went to her chamber, and then she said something like this. Bhante, ever since you left the house, I heard that you were living by shaving your hair. I too shaved my hair. And I heard that you eat only once a day, and I stopped eating this royal food. I ate only once a day. And I heard that you were wearing probably yellow clothes by that time, like a monk wanderer. I also started change the dresses that I've been wearing. And I changed myself for everything that I heard from people about you. I know you went to Magadha, so she has been explaining a lot of things. And then the Buddha said to her, this is not the first time you've been keeping up with me this way. And he actually brought up a Jataka story called Chandakinnara Jataka. Let me write for that for you. Type in Chandakinnara Jataka. Okay, you can look it up on the Jataka stories. Now, in this Jataka story, it poignantly portrays the love between mermaids, actually, Prince Siddhartha and Yashodhara. And he said that you've been sacrificing a lot for 500 lifetimes, and I understand that. And so actually he appreciated that love that he has been having even for his spiritual practice. But he knew the level of lobha. He understood the level of lobha. Now, the problem that many people are facing is that they don't know the lobha level. Attachment can happen, but do not cross the lobha level, greed level. That is where a lot of problems arise. So personal love is necessary for lay people, definitely a good that kind of a connection that helps them to understand life, that helps them to respect each other, even from mother, father, between parents, between parents and children, between spouses, between even boyfriend, girlfriend, anybody, siblings. This is necessary. On the other hand, can we do a personal love to everybody in the world? We cannot. That is where metta helps us, right? That is how we understand metta. So that means we need to bring in metta in a way that we cannot create conditional stuff. Now, the other dimension about personal love is that Some personal love relationships, they are going to be very conditional, isn't it? It can be, especially if you look at today's world. Okay, I love you because you have this thing, and then that thing, probably certain couple material stuff, it's going to be conditional. But mother's love is very different from that kind of a love, right? So conditional love and it's beautiful to see that unconditional love is with the mother. So that unconditionality has to be brought into Metta. Now there's a stanza. Vadake deva dattami chore angulimalake. I can't remember the last two lines. It says, the Buddha had the same love towards Devadatta, monk Devadatta. Vadake deva dattam chore angulimala, Nalagiri, and even to his son. That's pretty interesting. That means when he became the Buddha, his metta was same to all these people. Now look at these examples. Devadatta. Who was monk Devadatta? What is the relationship of monk Devadatta to the Buddha? He was the cousin. Huh? You can see a comment over here. Okay, we can live with only metta love, but personal love helps. Yes, definitely. That's what we've been discussing. Yes, we need that. Otherwise, we will feel that there are some lacunas, some empty spots in our life, right? Anyways, but the problem is to find the right people around us. That's a big issue, right? So, monk Devadatta, what is his relationship with the Buddha? He was the cousin, Yashodhara's brother. Now, his character is very interesting. Why is he very interesting? He wanted to bring in lots of sila things and then to highlight. He wanted to be highlighted among Sangha, among lay people. Once he suggested, proposed to the Buddha 5 things. Buddha, can you please grant these 5 things? You have to approve. So every monk, none can practice these 5 things. What are they? One of the things in that list was every monk has to be a forest monk. Every monk or nun to be a forest monk or nun. The Buddha said, no, it's up to them. You don't have to. Then who is going to do the activities in the city if everybody goes to the forest, right? There is a big issue. And it's not necessary for the practice. And every monk or nun has to go for pintapata with a bowl, alms bowl. Buddha said that is also not very necessary, right? Now, we know there are some practical issues going on. At that time, the alms bowl was the only thing that was used by the monks and nuns to go to take the food. And not even that same alms bowl, if you go for pindapata, you must use it to take showers, take water from the water tanks, wherever. And also they had to use the same alms bowl. It's not even alms bowl. Use patta, P-A-T-T, to other activities that is personal to him. But nowadays, people don't know. People only think that this is only for a pindapata activity, pindachara or pindapata activity, that every monk has to use this, right? Because at that time, there was no tradition of using a plate, porcelain plate, even the paper plate in today's world. Anyways, monk Devadatta asked the Buddha, can you lay down a rule that every monk, nun should depend on the alms bowl? No, it's not necessary. Remember that story? There was a monk who had a problem in going for pindapata. When he was going for pindapata, he doesn't see. Other people can see there is a lady who is going behind him. It was so at that time, people started talking. How come is this lady following him? This was a bad karma he did in a past life to that lady. Now this bad karma is coming after him. So King Kosala, in our understanding, said to that monk, I think you don't need to go for Pindapata. You stay in the temple. We will send food to you. That was the first time people brought food to the temple. Very interesting. Before that, everybody has to go for Pindapata. That's how devotees started going to a temple and offer the dana to the Sangha. Otherwise, they had to go out and, like in Thailand, in the morning, they had to go and then bring in the food. Right? Anyways, so the Buddha said, it's not necessary. Those of them who want to go, this thing, every Sangha member should use should use what you call a robe that is made from the clothings that were wrapped around the dead body. Now, at that time, when somebody passed away, there was not a formal burial. There was not a formal cremation. So they were bringing the dead bodies onto the cemetery. They just discard it on the cemetery area and they come back. That's why in the Satipatthana Sutta, there is a certain section under Kayanupassana. One of the Kayanupassana exercises is to look at the dead body. Right? At the end of the Kayanupassana, you see nine contemplations of watching a dead body. Now, this is not practical in today's life, right? Now, in today's world, we know that there is a formal funeral process going on, embalming and all that. So that was only given based on that time. And then, so if monk or a Sangha member wants to use a robe, that robe has to be made from the clothings which were wrapped around the dead body. The Buddha said it is not necessary. There may be a rich man, there may be a Raja, king, there may be a business person, there may be another devotee who has materials to make a robe. Maybe they may offer that to a Sangha member. They can use it too. We don't have to go to that extreme. The last one is quite interesting. He said, every Sangha member should stop eating. They have to be vegetarians. Every Sangha member has to be vegetarian. Buddha said, no, it's not necessary. If somebody wants to be vegetarians, let them be vegetarians. Right? So this is Monk Devadatta, and he did a lot of other things, right? But the Buddha had the same metta, just like what he had to his son Rahula and to Monk Devadatta. What is the meaning of Devadatta? Deva means devas, deities. Datta means, teach you some Pali with the names. Huh? Datta, D-A-T-T-A. Datta. Now you see in today's world, Indian names, especially Bollywood names have Dutt, D-U-T-T. D-U-T-T. Some actress from Bollywood. D-U-T-T, Datta. Datta means given by the Deva. That means Devadatta means someone who was given by the Deva. And what about Brahma Datta? Given by the Brahma. Brahma Datta. B-R-H-M-A-D-A-T-T-A. Brahma Datta. So anyways, Monk Devadatta. Then Vadake Devadattami Chori Angulimala. The Buddha had the same metta towards Angulimala. Now, you know the Angulimala story. I think it's a bad name. Huh? We should not call somebody from a name that was given to him or her just because of whatever he did or done, right? There was a monk in the Buddhist history called Lakunta Bhante, the short monk, which is not a discriminatory. Lakuntaka Bhante. Now here, the name is Angulimala. His name was Ahinsaka, innocent. His proper name is Ahinsaka. This is his proper name, not Angulimala. Ahinsaka. This was his name. So Angulimala was the name that was attributed to him when people understand he was killing other people, right? Anyways, Angulimala, let's say Ahinsaka, I think all of you know Angulimala. He has been very, very fierce, but the Buddha understood that I have to help him before he kills his mother, and then he made the move and he saved him. And Vatake Devadattami Chori Angulimala. And even the Nalagiri, the elephants, even Rahula, all these people were similar to the Buddha. So he had the same metta, because when he became the Buddha, he is naturally maintaining that disposition, that level of metta. If you look at metta from different other perspectives in terms of unconditionality, there are certain things that people don't understand. Now, one thing is, their way of perceiving other people, especially their bad experiences. This prevents them from putting everybody into unconditional level. Maybe I can ask some of you, if you have any thoughts about why people cannot practice unconditional metta. Why some people's metta is conditional? Is it because of their ignorance, or is it because they have not cleared out certain incidents in their life? Any thoughts? Now, if you look at someone who is practicing metta every morning, now I always tell people, and don't worry about the time of the meditation. 5 minutes metta is good, at the very least, 5 minutes. During these 5 minutes, you think that you will bring up all the loved ones, actually, in the first place. But the idea is that you bring up the loved ones because you want to bring the same metta that you have for the loved ones also to the rest of the others. Now, why some people cannot practice unconditional metta? It is because they have not forgiven others with their heart or in their heart. So they cannot give the metta to those people. They still do their own way of metta. And they have created a lot of validations. I cannot practice metta to these people. They are very bad people, terrible. They have taken advantage of my life or something. But there are things you can do. You're going to set some boundaries, healthy boundaries with them. But still, you have to keep sending metta, because if you don't send metta, then on the other hand, what is happening to you is that you are not able to bring in unconditional metta because you have wounds within you. So we have to give it to them. If you go back to another sutta, Sigalova, the sutta, the Buddha says there are certain responsibilities a lay person has to do for the Sangha. 3 of them are about metta. Mettaya kaya kammena, mettaya vachi kammena, mettaya mano kammena. If you take it in your own way, metta has to be practiced more likely as an attitude. That is how you're going to put metta into real practice. Of course, I have to make sure that it's not a mantra, okay? Now, it's metta is not a mantra. Like people, I always say this, people think metta is that may I be well, happy, peaceful, may no harm come to me, and so on and so forth. But metta should be an attitude. That means when we talk to somebody, we have to talk with metta, without anger, without those akusala thoughts in our mindset. When we talk, when we think, when we act, that is a better way to practice metta unconditionally. Otherwise, our metta will be stuck. It will become a part of a conditional practice. I had an experience some time ago, long time ago, when I was doing a metta meditation program to a university. They were quoting somebody's name, one of the politicians' name. Can we exclude him in our metta practice? Some of them. Because we cannot send metta to him. He's too evil. This was their problem. I said, you cannot do that. If you think that he is doing some wrong things, some evil stuff, you have to look at it differently. But here in your metta practice, don't bring him in that particular way that you cannot practice metta. We must be able to practice metta. Otherwise, you are not practicing metta in the proper way. Now, this also affects normal people in their own life. Now, they say, every day I've been practicing metta, but every day I'm struggling a lot in my household. Then when we, keep asking questions about this person's situation, then we understand that that person who is so-called practicing metta never includes that difficult person in his or her metta prayers in the morning. They practice metta just by directions and those common ways, but they never include that particular person who is giving a hard time, who is giving a bad time to them. So they might not feel the metta. Just like that incident in the temple, right? Remember that monk was bitten by a snake, and he was saying to other people that I've been practicing metta a lot, but the snake went to him and stung him, not the other people, because his metta was not inclusive. He was doing a conditional metta. Other monks were really stuck as to what happened, and the Buddha said, yes, he practiced metta, but not in the proper way. His metta was conditional. So when you practice metta, you have to understand who is around you. It depends, right? Who is around you in your own life at the moment, in your household, is quite different from other people. Especially within your household. You know who they are. So you have to give a special, space for those difficult people. But unfortunately, what we are doing in our metta practice, we are cherry picking the good, loud ones only for our metta. Okay, I have to give this metta only to that person. We don't include the difficult ones. So that is a very interesting point. Because if you don't, as long as you don't bring in the difficult ones into your metta practice, they will not feel your metta. They will still continue to give you a hard time. That means you can see a practical way to see unconditionality. Don't make your metta practice conditional. Conditional means you are cherry picking the people who you want to practice metta to. Don't cherry pick them. You will start with the people around you, but try to include everybody, especially those of them who are giving you a hard time. Because when you include them, if you still have anger, that means your metta is not perfect. Your metta is not complete. That is how we're going to look at unconditionality in terms of metta. Let's see the other Pali words over here. It's quite interesting. Manasam bhavai aparimahana. Okay. Parimana means countless metta, unlimited. Okay. And then bhavai. Okay, this word has to be discussed. Bhavai. The Pali word bhavai has called bhaveti. Yeah, bhaveti. This is the usual Pali word, but now here bhavaye. Bhavaye means this is one of the Pali tenses. We call it wishing. May you practice. May it arise. May you perform. Right, that kind of a tense. So, what does bhavaye, bhaveti means? Very interesting. Now, if you look at this Pali word called bhaveti, some people call it bhavana. BH long BH long A, VAN long A, bhavana. Now, this Pali term is a loaded term nowadays because a lot of Pali schools, I would say Buddhist schools, have given different meanings to this Pali word called bhavana. According to them, bhavana means samatha vipassana. But we understand the meaning of bhaveti or bhavaye in early suttas talk about something more interesting. It's more about the practice of the 7 bojjhangas. Now, bhaveti means not just samatha vipassana. It's a later addition to this Pali term. But bhaveti, bhavaye originally means the practice of the bojjhangas. Now, I'm going to dispel a thought over here, misunderstand. When you hear about the bojjhangas, you always think this was meant for the arahants and onwards. Even I have heard some people making some comments when Venerable Sangha members go to houses and then when they chant bojjhangas. I think we are not going to be help out with this chanting because this was meant for the arahants, right? Actually, in those 3 suttas, yes, the objects, the purpose was to help out an arahant. The Buddha recites Bojjhanga Suttas, the Bojjhangas, to help Venerable Mahakassapa, Arahan Mahakassapa. And then in the same way, the Buddha helps another monk, Mahamoggalla. And finally, Arahan Mahachudna is going to recite the same sutta for the Buddha. But 7 Bojjhangas are not only an arahant or an enlightened, awakened being's thing. If you look at the Sabbasava Sutta, we go to the Sabbasava Sutta, Majjhima Nikaya number 2, the Buddha says that there are 7 ways to deal with our akusalas. One way is bhaveti or bhavana. That means the last one. That means in order for you to overcome certain akusalas, certain asavas, you have to practice 7 bojjhangas unenlightened being, not as an enlightened being. As an unenlightened being, you are practicing 7 bojjhangas because that kind of bojjhanga practice will help you to become a sotapanna and an arahant one day. So the word Pali word bhaveti is specifically meant about 7 bojjhangas: sati, dhamma, vichaya, virya, piti, passati, samadhi, upekka. Now, then you might perhaps wonder, where does metta include in the 7 bojjhangas? Sati, dhamma, vichaya, virya, piti, passati, samadhi, upekka. Now, in order to practice any bojjhanga, any good quality, any good virtue, you need a certain level of sati. Right? The word sati is a second, what do you call? It's a constant practice for other main practices. Right? For example, let's say now you want to practice metta. Even that thought that comes to you to practice metta comes because of sati. Right? Otherwise, how do you think that I have to practice sati now? Okay, you wake up in the morning. I have to practice metta meditation. How it arose? Because you are mindful about it. I had to do it now. That means sati helps many other practices to coordinate. Sati is the supervisor. It's not the main practice. Sati is the supervisor. Mindfulness, I don't like this word translation, but it's a poor translation, but we use it because people don't understand otherwise, unless otherwise. So sati, bear awareness. This sati is the helper, supervisor for us to practice all the other bigger practices. Now, even to practice metta, you need to understand how, why, when, where, and all these WH things, you know. So in the morning or anywhere else, anytime. So now the word bhavana. Now here, let's go back again to the Pali word here. Manasang bhavaye apariman. Bhavaye. Now bhavaye means your metta practice. You are practicing metta unconditionally. This practice one day should lead to the practice of 7 bojjhangas. First, sati bojjhanga. With sati, you are letting other many practices to work, right? So we have to understand. But the cultural understanding of bhavana is only about some meditations, but that is not how we are supposed to understand the Pali word bhavana. All right, any other thing that we can see in the sutta? This is the analogy, but this analogy comes from a very personal love. The only thing that we are taking is this part, anurakhe. That means this unconditionality, but the love is personal. We are going to bring in this analogy to the practice of metta, right? So that means this stanza makes sure, confirms that if you are practicing metta with conditions, that is not going to be a metta practice. That is going to be a half practice. That is going to be an incomplete practice. So you will keep calling, I have a problem in my household. I've been practicing meditation for 10 years, every day, 3 months, but still I'm having same problem. Still people are not happy, giving a hard time in my household, in my workplace. Why is it? Because you have not properly brought in the practice. You have not brought the difficult people into your metta practice. Why many people are not doing that? They're scared when they bring in the difficult people, they will be more angry towards them. You don't have to. Let's say there is someone who has been not giving you positive vibes for the many years. You bring in, you know what has been happening. But in your metta practice, you understand, you know for sure that you cannot exclude them. You need to include them. That is metta. That is the power of metta. That is how you are supposed to look at this unconditional level of metta. So never ever exclude anybody. Try to include everyone. That is the way how we are supposed to practice. Any questions about this verse in particular? Yes, Susan.
Bhante, can you explain Bhutesu? Is it all beings living and passed on, or just the pattas?
Interesting. Interesting. Actually, earlier, with regard to the Tirokudda Sutta and Nidikanda Sutta, I think I explained to all of you. Bhutas are, the word Pali word Bhuta is particular about the living beings. This is one interpretation. Sorry, this is one way to understand. But when you look at the Karaniya Metta Sutta's Bhutesu, at this point, this Bhuta means all living beings who are in the samsara. Now here they pass away, but they are reborn somewhere else. So all living beings who have not attained Nibbana. Now can you practice metta to someone who already attained Nibbana and passed away permanently? Never come back? They already finished their sansaric journey. So this is for every being who is still in the samsara. Their trip is still going on. They haven't stopped their trip. They have still gas, a lot of gas in their trip. Sansaric gas, oil. What is the gas? Kamma, sankhara. So all these beings, they have to be included under the bhutesu. Yes, Seri?
Bhante, now we know that we cannot exclude anyone from our metta meditation. But the problem is we as lay people and untrained, like when we want to, we know, but then how to overcome those difficulties to really like share our metta to like you can say our the people that we were angry before. Is tough, but we know that we cannot get angry anymore, but still there is something that holds us back for not radiating that kind of metta that we should do. So Bhante, can you please like teach us how to overcome this difficulty? Thank you.
You nail it down. All right. So this is what I've been explaining, but now you nail it down into into a very simple situation about we have been holded back, especially with the bad memories. What can we do? Let's say somebody has been very mean to us. We have no more connection to them or him or her. Now, today we are talking that we cannot exclude them. We have to bring into our metta practice. Each time, if I'm going to bring them into my practice, I still think about lots of anger, lots of frustration. So how to do this? It's a problem. It's not a problem if we know the way, what to do at that point. Now, we may not communicate with them at the moment. Maybe we are not supposed to communicate also, right? But deep down in our heart, we have to forgive us. You may not be able to forgive them. You have to forgive yourself, because you need to let this memory go, because you are doing something for them in the proper way. What is it? You are maintaining a safe boundary with them. You are not talking to them. You have a healthy boundary with them, right? That is the lesson that you are doing, right? The lesson was that you are not synchronizing with them. You are not matching with them. It was stopped. It was halted. And you are keeping a distance. That's what you are doing. But while doing that, if you're still creating lots of angry thoughts about the incident, that is going to be very unnecessary, because every time you are coming up with an angry thought, what you are doing is that you are trying to wound you. Lots of wounds are happening. The same wound is going to be expanded, right? So you need to give a good dana to yourself. Normally you go to the vihara, you give dana to the sangha members. Now this is a perfect dana. Give a good dana to you. I have to relieve myself. How do I do it? I have to let it go, because I have done the proper thing to this person. I have kept a safe distance. But in my practice, I cannot bring in bad memories, because they are not any more important, because I have already done what should be done with them. I have to heal myself, because if I don't heal myself, what is happening is that I will not be able to practice the proper metta. I will do different metta. That is what people have been doing. They do their own metta, but it's not going to really work. So we have to heal us. Healing means that we should not keep that wound anymore. I have to heal myself. Good lesson for me, a good teaching moment for me. I'm not going to be surrounded by them, with them anymore. But I have to heal myself, because if I keep this wound in me, maybe they have gone away. Maybe they have passed away already, but still I'm keeping the wound. It is very unnecessary. So we have to let it go, definitely. And that is how we are bringing this unconditional metta. Now then somebody might ask how to let go. Okay, how to let go? Let go means you have to properly understand what happened and do not create a grudge against anybody. Maybe you may also have a problem. Why did you associate these people at that point? Because Buddha always says you have to be always with the Kalyana Mittas. When you make Papa Mittas early in your life, then you mess up your life. Right? And then at a certain point of your life, now you are going to practice all these high practices, unconditional metta and all. But the memories that you made, they can still stay in your mind. Right? That's why the Buddha said, try to reduce the problem by being surrounded with the Kalyana Mitta. Now, let's say sadly, if that option is off the table, then what you can do? Then what you can do is that then still I can do something. That means I have to let that memory go. I don't have to hold on to that memory. Those people are not in my life anymore. If they are not in my life anymore, I am going on my life in my own good way. So why I am carrying this unnecessary burden? I have to put it wherever it is belonged to, and then go with the Kalyana Mittas. And then I can definitely bring in this unconditional level of metta. I have no problem at that point. Actually, we have to do that. We all have to do it because we were not surrounded by Kalyana Mittas all the time, isn't it? Time to time, we had different people in our life. Right? This is the nature. Even the Buddha had some other people like Devadatta and all these people. So we have to time to time, you have to do a certain review about your life, understand those bad memories. Don't bring those bad memories to ruin your rest of the life. You must heal yourself. Some people have a wrong understanding. What is it? They think when they forgive other people, let's say you are not talking to them, you don't have to talk to them. You don't have to tell them, I am going to forgive you. Right? And there will be other problems too. What you are doing is that you are mentally, emotionally, within yourself going to forgive them. Right? Because you have to heal yourself. Actually, when you are forgiving internally, in that process, what you are doing is that you are forgiving yourself, not that person, finally. Because you want to heal yourself. Some people think, no, I don't want to forgive that person because the thing that this person done was so bad, so terrible. And I almost, lost everything in my life. Actually, you don't have to tell that. But within you, you have to forgive that person. And when you forgive that person, you are going to heal yourself and you will create a very beautiful future from that point onwards. You will see miracles are happening. You will have a transformation and then you are easily going to practice metta. So that's how we're going to look at it. It's not a one-day thing. You have to do it. It will take some time. All the Buddhist practices take time. Not a one-day thing. Slowly, gradually, you are going there. You are coming to that point. Other things that you needed to know about today's stanza? Any more questions about today's stanza or metta practice in general? Revenge can also be a part of this issue, because when something happens to somebody, it's very normal. Some people take it in a revenge, right? So when you have this revenge mentality, you are not able to practice metta, right? So there are two practices that are very necessary, instrumental in practicing other practices. They are sati and khanti, mindfulness and patience. If you look at 10 people who are doing Buddhist things, who are good people, you see their level of patience is very different, right? Now, let's say there are 10 people who are doing dana. If you look at someone who is the most patient person out of those 10 donors, that person is creating more kusalas. Why? He or she can take time to understand every moment in that kusala thought. So in the same way, when it goes to metta practice, you will understand who can practice metta very well. The person who is mindful and who is more patient. That person understands a lot of things in that practice. This unconditionality comes from that mindful, patient perspective. Otherwise, it might be very difficult to focus on that kind of a very unbounded metta, a boundless metta. Any other stories, if you can remember, about Buddhism, Buddhist stories where we see the boundless metta? There are lots of stories about metta, actually. Many stories. There was a very famous lady called Samavati. Yeah? Samavati was one of the co-queens of Udeni, King Udeni. And one day, the other co-queen, Magandia, was very unhappy about Samavati. So she spilled some hot water into her just to check what's happening. Nothing happened to her, but don't try that. Huh? The Samavati's metta was super high. Don't try putting hot water onto somebody, boil water. So, because she has been practicing metta very well, true metta, whatever other people. Okay, when you practice unconditional metta, another very good thing will be happening to you. Because many people are going through certain mistreatment, maltreatment in their life in different ways. Maybe they might say other people are picking on me, they are bullying on me, they are saying different things on me. But when you practice unconditional metta, you won't feel that much mistreatment. You are responding to all these people in a way that they will feel something good about you. So there are practical benefits of practicing metta unconditionally. Because you mind about your own metta, you keep doing that. So whatever the bad thing other people are doing onto you in public or in absence or in public, you won't mind it because you have made up your mind about that unconditional level. All right, take another 1 more minute. If not, we're going to transfer the good karmas. Yes, Jenny,
Bhante,
take the question.
yeah. Just now Bhante mentioned that maybe we should like practice metta meditation every day, like 5 minutes or 10
At
minutes.
least, at the very least, 5.
Yeah. So is it advisable to like practice metta meditation and follow by the breath meditation, or we should just practice the metta meditation alone?
Very interesting question. Metta meditation is necessary and breath meditation is also necessary. What I can suggest is that metta ultimately narrows down to a what do you call understanding about your life. And then that understanding will help you to practice breath meditation very well. So you could do probably a fusion, metta and breath at the same time. Because not today metta and tomorrow breath. Let's say because finally you are not living with you are living with other people. So it's better to, maybe you can practice breath first, and then when you calm down and go to metta. That's a good way, right? Because when you practice breath, you are watching your breath, you will be super calm. That calmness will help you to think about this unconditional, boundless metta. So probably a fusion. So they work, they go together actually.
Thank you, Bhante.
Maybe a 5 minutes practice, plus 5 minutes or 10 minutes practice if you could.
That means we practice the breath, then after our mind calm down, then we just follow by
That is better, because then we can see our wounds, our healing, and the problems, and then we can include all these difficult peoples also in our practice. Easy for us. If we are not very calm, then bad memories will take us over, those bad memories take us over, and then we are not able to think about this unconditional level. Then we will cherry pick the loud ones and we will finish our metta prayer. You ask from people, how is your metta practice? Who did you do metta? My mom, my dad, my boyfriend, my husband, my wife, my children. That's it. Why? Because they cannot go to that level, because they are not super calm. So they are always having this insecurity. Will something happen to my family? Will something happen to will somebody in my family get sick? These insecurities are kind of, dragging them all the time because they haven't started the practice. So breath first, and then the metta, a fusion.
Okay, thank you.
All right, I think we can now go to the transference of merits. Let's contemplate about all the good things, good karmas we've been doing, especially by understanding metta. This is such an important part of our practice. So may all the good karmas we've been making today be transferred to all the departed ones, passed away in the name of all of us in this life or in past lives. May they be well and happy. May they attain the supreme bliss of Nibbana. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Idam me nyati nang hotu sukita huntu nyatayo. Idam me nyati nang hotu sukita huntu nyatayo. Idam me nyati nang hotu sukita huntu nyatayo. Also, may all the good karmas be shared by all Deva, Naga, Mahindika. May Deva, Naga, Mahindika be well and happy. May they protect and bless all of us for good health, quality of life, and prosperity and safety. May they in particular bless all of us for our Dhamma journey. May our Dhamma journey be a very smooth, seamless, consistent Dhamma journey. May Deva, Naga, Mahindika finally attain the supreme bliss of Nibbana. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Ittavata cha ammehi sambatang punya sampadang sabbe deva anumodantu sabbasang patti siddhya. Ittavata cha ammehi sambatang punya sampadang sabbe bhuta anumodantu sabbasang patti siddhya. Ittavata cha ammehi sambatang punya sampadang Sabbe satta anumodantu sabba sangpatti siddhya. Akasatta cha bhummatta devanaga mahindika punyantang anumoditva chirang rakhantu lokasasanang. Akasatta cha bhummatta devanaga mahindika punyantang anumoditva chirang rakhantu desanang. Akasattha cha bhummatta devanaga mahindika Punyantang anumoditva chirang rakhang tumang paranti chirang rakhang tutang sadamati. Also, maybe be in the company of Kalyana Mitas and not with the Papa Mitas to be attain the Nibbana. Thinking thus, we're going to make the wish. Imina punya kammena mami bala samagamu satang samagamu hotu yavanipana patya. Finally, may all the good karmas we've been making today, day 38 of our online power reading class, be supportive and helpful for all of us to attain the supreme bliss of Nibbana. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Abhivadana silis nichang vadha pachayino chattaru dhamma vadhanti ayuvanu sukhang balang ayurarogya sampatti sagga sampatti me vache atu nibbana sampatti iminati saminjatu. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Wishing you a good night, everybody. We'll see you then next Thursday at the same time.
Thank you, Bhante.
Thank you,
Thank you, Bhante. Sadhu.
Thank you, Bhante. Sadhu, sadhu.
Thank you, Bhante. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu.
Thank you, Bhante. Sadhu, Bhante.
Thank you,
Thank
Bhante.
you, Bhante.
Sadhu, sadhu.
Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu.
Okay, good night,
Take care,
everyone.
everybody. Good night. Take
Night.
care.
Bhante.
Good night, Bhante.
Night, Bhante.
Good night.